Namaste and very hearty welcome to all of you to this high intensity Thursday Satsang. And today we are starting a new series which is titled as The Life Lessons. In this series, which is going to continue for a few weeks, we are going to learn life lessons from many great people of the history. All different types of life lessons we'll be learning. Many of these things are from the scriptures. So first thing today we have started this series, and the first life lesson that we have chosen is a very interesting character from Ramayana, the great Indian epic, the villain of the Ramayana. Okay, the lessons from Ravana, who was a villain in this story. It's not just a story; it's a history. There are lots of proofs that it is a history. ये इतिहास है, ये mythology नहीं है. So the lessons are really genuine. Okay, it's a history, not the mythology. And the lessons are really genuine because there are records of these things. And Sri Lankan government, okay, has produced documents about it. Anyway, that aspect we will not go into it. We will straight get into the life lessons. But before I start discussing the life lessons with you, let me tell you a little bit about Ravan for some of you who are new to this Indian epic Ramayana. So Ravana is the villain in this story of Ramayana, and but he was a very learned person. So much learned that he knew all the Vedas and all the knowledge that was there, scriptural knowledge. He had all these things. He was expert in astrology, and he had written few books on the astrology. Okay. So a very learned person, and he was a great sadhak also. He was doing Shiva Upasana, and he had the blessings of Lord Shiva. Another Upasana he did, he had the blessings of Lord Brahma, uh, and having lots of powers. And in those days in Sri Lanka, those days Lanka, he was considered as one of the best king because he really protected the Sura dynasty in Lanka in those days, and he was considered as one of the best king. The people under him were extremely happy, and there was a tremendous financial and economical growth of the people in those days. It is about 7,500-year-old story. So once he was doing the sadhana, and Lord Shiva appeared, and he said, "I want to take you to Lanka, from Kailasha to Lanka." So Shiva said, "No, not now." And Ravan wanted to show his powers. So he actually picked up the Kailas Parvat with his hands. And Lord Shiva understood that he is not an ordinary person. So he put his foot on the Kailas and pressed it. And his fingers were under the Kailas Parvat. He was very much in pain. And he was still chanting Shivatandav Stotra, praising Lord Shiva. And Shiva understood that he had extraordinary capacity to bear pain, and that's why he said, he gave the name to this person Ravan, where the word Ravan in Sanskrit means somebody who is chanting loudly under the pain. It is the meaning of the word Ravan. Because he was under the pain, Shiva put his foot onto the Mount Kailas, and Ravan's fingers were under the load of the Mount Kailas and Lord Shiva both. And he was still bearing the pain and praising Lord Shiva through Shivatandam Stotram. That's how the word Ravan, the name came. There are lots of such stories. And another story, he is considered to be the son of Rishi Viswarna. And his second wife was Kaikashi. Okay. Kaikashi was Kshatriya Rakshas, known as the Brahma Rakshas, Brahm Rakshasi. Ekasi was the name of the second wife of the Rishi, and she was a Brahma Rakshasi. So Ravan had the genes, genetics. He was extremely learned, like a Pandit, like a Brahmin, and he had all the capacities of a Asura. Right. So both the aspects were fully bloomed in Ravan. So he had lots of powers, and plus he gathered lots more power. He did sadhana, and Brahmaji appeared. So he said, I want the boon. I should not be killed by anybody. So Brahmaji said, that is not possible. On the planet Earth, whosoever is born will die. That boon I cannot give you, but I will give you another boon. You ask. He said, okay, give me a boon that I will not be killed by anybody other than the humans and the monkeys. Because he was never afraid of humans and monkey because he was all powerful. But he was afraid of other animals, bigger animals and all. So he can be killed by the bigger animals. He said, okay, if you can't give me the boon of immortality, give me the boon that I will not be killed by anybody other than humans and monkeys. So Brahmaji said, okay, tathastu, so be it. So he got that boon. And he was such a powerful person, such a capable king that in those days, 7,500 years approximately back, Sri Lanka had 4 airports. And there are physical proofs of these things, okay? Sri Lankan government approved document is available. There were 4 airports 7,500 years back in Sri Lanka, and he owned multiple Vimana, the planes, okay, the old style Mercury vortex engine Vimana. And they had this anti-gravity property, and he used to fly. And the story shows that he actually picked up Sita in the Vimana, and by the space route, he went to Sri Lanka from Ayodhya. So he was that capable, 4 aerodromes, multiple planes in those days, 7,500 years back. And this is a history. Some of those Vimanas are there. Indian government has confirmed there are 4 in India. So extraordinary things are there. Okay, many people consider it as a mythology, but this is actually the history because now the proofs are there everywhere. You see, these monkeys, they built the bridge where the stones were floating. Even today, the scientists have confirmed that Rameshwaram to Sri Lanka, the bridge is there, underneath. Those stones are still floating and the stones are still there. The bridge is still there. Even after 7,500 years back, when ISRO people, they did the photography through the satellite, they found that entire bridge connections are there and those stones are still floating. I personally went to Rameswaram to see this thing, and I picked up a small stone which was floating there. I have with me. I came back home and put it into the bucket full of water. It is floating in the water. Very good stone, but it's floating in the water. There's a property. The stone has the holes inside, so there's a lot of air and it flows on the water. So floating stones bridge, what is mentioned in our epic is actually physically there. So that proves that it is a itias, it's not the mythology. So Ravan as a person existed, and the lessons that we are learning are the real lessons from a real person. It's not just the mythology, it is the history. That's what I wanted to tell you, that we are learning the lessons from a real person. Ram exists, Laxman exists, like that Ravana also existed those days. And he was a king, and lots of historical proofs are there that he was a king. Okay, so now after all these stories, what do we learn? What are the life lessons that we learn from the Ravana? This is the basic aim that we are having in this series, learning the lessons from great people. Greatness of Ravana. See, as an astrologer, I am highly impressed by him. He knew how to control the planets. And it is said that when his son Meghnad was to born, he collected all the planets in such a way that they will come in the 11th house of the horoscope of his son Meghnad. And if that would have happened, because he has all the knowledge of astrology, and if that would have been happened, Meghnad would have become a winner in all the fights, all the wars. Not only that, he would have become immortal, because 11th house is known as the Ichha Purti Sthan, which means all your wishes will come true if all the planets are in your 11th house. But it is said that Shani Maharaj, Lord Shani, played the trick. So he took out his one foot and put it into the 12th house. And Ravana was so smart, he noticed. So he pulled out his mace and hits on the foot of the Saturn. And that's why Saturn became lame. So it moves very slow. But the effect of that foot put into the 12th house was like a small child of Saturn that was put into the 12th house, which is now known as Mandi. And in my past life astrology, I give a lot of importance to Mandi and Saturn both. So because this happens, Meghnad was killed in the Ram Ravan war, and he was killed by Laxman, the younger brother of Lord Ram. That is the story. And he knew about astrology so much so, one of the best book even today is Ravan Samhita. I met one of the Raj astrologer of Nepal kingdom. He was pretty close to the king of Nepal, and he used to guide the king, Nepal king's astrology. He had come to our home long back, 25, 30 years back, and he was expert in Ravan Samhita. And he did lots of predictions, and all those predictions came true. Ravan Samhita book I have, my friend is having at his residence. I have seen that book. It's a very powerful scripture on the astrology. So, a lot of Nadi Samhitas are there. There is Ravan Nadi Samhita also. So, he was expert in astrology and he produced a lot of literature about the astrology as well. So, once the war was over and he was shot, the arrow in his navel by Lord Ram, and that is how he was to die. So, when he was about to die, Ram calls Laxman that come here. See, this man, even though he is our enemy and he is about to die, but he is a great follower of Lord Shiva. He knows all the Vedas. He knows the politics and he is expert astrologer. He has so much of knowledge that if you go and ask him to share his life lessons, because before he breathes last, he was about to die. I'm sure he will tell you. So that was an interesting proposition given by Lord Ram. So Laxman goes and stands near Ravan and he says, my brother has told me that you know so many scriptures and you are a great astrologer and you have learned lots of things. You know all the Vedas, all the scriptures. Before you leave your body, please give me that knowledge. And Ravan doesn't even respond to the request of Laxman. So Laxman wonders what happens. So he goes back to Ram. So this is what happened. And Hanumanji was there. So Hanumanji says, I was seeing you. You were standing near the head of Ravan. Ravan is a very learned person. Even though he's about to die, even though he's an enemy. But he knows the scriptures. And you had gone there as a student. The student is supposed to stand at the feet, not near the head. That's the mistake you did. And you should be humble and request with a lot of humility. So Laxman understood that He had not asked with humility. He was standing near the head, not near the feet. And so he understood his mistake, said sorry to Ram, sorry to Hanumanji, and went back with a lot of humility. Stood near the feet of Ravana and very humbly said, requested to share his life lessons. And then Ravana started. Okay. He said, your brother Ram, who has killed me, okay, I'm about to die. He's so great that if I have got some energy left, I will stand up, go there and touch his feet. In the whole story, even though I'm about to die, you are my enemy, but I have learned lots of lessons. And I will for sure share it with you, all my life lessons. And Ravan started talking. Even though it was difficult for him to talk because he was about to die. But all the great people are very, very keen on sharing their life's learnings, life lessons before they die. Because that is considered as one of the rina of all the great people. So it is said that if the great people don't share that knowledge and they take it away with them, then they will have to come back to share the knowledge. So not a single great master or a great mystic or a great person will never duck this opportunity, will never say no to such an opportunity, because this opportunity is given to you at the end. This means your moksha is confirmed, your nirvana is confirmed. At the end, you are sharing all the lessons, including the last lesson that you have learned just before the death. So, wonderful opportunity. And the great person in the form of Laxman, he got it as a student. And very humbly he requested, and he started talking as a guru. Like Laxman got a lot of knowledge, Ram and Laxman both from Vasishtha Rishi. So, the way he would treat his teacher, Acharya Vasishtha, like that he treated the opponent who was killed by them, by his brother. And but you see, that was the tradition, that was the culture those days. Okay, the enmity is over, the war is over, but they talk in a very nice manner, and Ravan started sharing the lessons. Now let's go into the lessons one by one. So the first lesson he says, that all these years I have learned something as astrologer, as a king. First lesson he talks about is Subhashya Sigram. That is the sentence that has been told in Sanskrit, Subhashya Sigram, which means do not delay the good action because chance may slip off and a second chance you may not get. If you have got the idea of doing some good thing for somebody and you want to do, then do it immediately. Don't think too much, because if you have got a chance to do something for somebody, do it, because you may not get another chance. The life is so unpredictable. Subhashya Sigra. Anything which is auspicious act, good act, meritorious act, don't delay that thought. Stand up and do it immediately then and there. Why? Because that is how your life will improve. So no procrastination, no delay as far as doing the good action, auspicious deeds are concerned. Very wonderful lesson. All of us we can learn. You see, if the good thought comes, take action immediately. It's called Kriya Shakti. Let me tell you the modern interpretation as given by one of the American trainer, very popular, Tony Robbins. He's very popular, very costly trainer. I happened to attend his program. He is talking about the massive action in his books. Anthony Robbins, his name is, pet name is Tony. So people call him Tony Robbins. He's talking about the massive action, which is equivalent to our Indian scriptural connotation, Kriya Shakti. So what Ravan is talking about is there are three things that we need to manifest anything in our life. First is called Ichha Shakti, the willpower. Second is called Jnana Shakti, that is called the power of knowledge. Jnana Shakti. And third is called the Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti means the power of action, which means the massive action that Tony Robbins is talking about. So, if you got the opportunity to do some auspicious deed, which means you already have the Ichha, the will, you know something, that's why that thought came to you. What is missing is the Kriya Shakti, the massive action. So, Ravana says, don't delay, don't procrastinate in taking the action. Subhasya Shigra. Good auspicious deed, do it immediately. Don't delay, because you may not get the chance to do it again. What a wonderful lesson. Very first lesson. The second lesson says, if you get a thought to do the bad deeds, wrong action, evil, then delay as much as you can. Don't act on this. And he says, this evil thought came to me to trick Sita Maya and get her here. And I acted on that so fast. And I did that. And that became the cause of my death. So Laxman, learn this lesson properly. If you get an evil thought, keep on pondering, keep on procrastinating, keep on delaying. Do not act on the evil thoughts. And that's how you will save yourself from lots of troubles in your life. Procrastinate. When you get a thought which is very bad, which is very evil, if you are about to do something wrong, unethical, immoral, something that's going to hurt the people, something that's going to bounce back on you, something which is not ethical, moral, you should keep on delaying. Don't act on those thoughts. So delay as much as you can, procrastinate there. There is a very wonderful thing. So you will save yourself from the trouble. That is the second lesson that Ravana is talking about, Laxman. And Ravana gives the example of his own. He said, see, I acted so fast on picking up your brother's wife, and that became the cause of my death. If I would have delayed on that idea and wouldn't have acted, I would have saved myself. So, very wonderful second lesson. Delay the bad act and act immediately on good act. Subhasya Shigra. Shubha, auspicious acts, act immediately. Bad acts, evil acts, unethical acts, delay, delay, delay. So first two lessons, everybody got very good for all of us. They are still valid. These lessons were talked about 7,500 years back. These lessons are eternal. They are valid for all of us even today. Third lesson that he says, never underestimate your disease, however small it may be, or enemy. Never underestimate your enemy or the opponent or the disease. A small disease can come, and if you don't take care, it will go big, and you may be in trouble. So don't underestimate the disease. Much more than important than that is, don't underestimate your opponent. Don't underestimate your enemy. And he again gives the example. See, this Hanuman ji is a monkey, and I underestimated him as a monkey. And he became the cause of the destruction of my kingdom, Lanka. Because I underestimated his capacity, but he is a very capable person. Hanumanji is a very capable person. Now, as I'm dying, I understand that I made a mistake. I underestimated Hanumanji as my opponent when he came first time to Lanka. Thought he's a monkey. What will a monkey do? But you see, he became the real cause for the destruction and death of myself. So, very serious. He said, learn this lesson. Never underestimate your enemy, however small you may think he is. Never underestimate your opponent. Never underestimate even a small disease that you get, because the disease can become big. So astrologically, if you interpret, he says, take care of the sixth house of your horoscope. It's all about competition, opponents, enemies, disease, and that's what he was talking. So because he was astrologer, he says, be very careful about the sixth house of your horoscope. Okay, so all the astrologer, all of you understand. Okay, so lesson number 4 is for the politics, for the kings. He says, never share your secrets with anybody, not even with your brother. Never share secrets, not even with your wife or husband, not with your brother, not with anybody. Never share your secrets. He said, that is the lesson I have learned in a bad way. How I'll be killed, nobody in this world knew, because he had a boon that he cannot be killed. But in once, casually, he had talked about it to his brother, Vibhishan. And Vibhishan knew about the secret that if Ram shoots the arrow in the navel of Ravan, that is the only way he can get killed, and there is no other way. Only Vibhishan knew. But Vibhishan was his brother, and he was all for it. So he thought that it's quite okay, safe to share the secret. But you see, Vibhishan changed the party. He became the follower of Lord Ram. He became the devotee of Lord Ram. And when it was becoming tough, because he knew the secret of how to kill Ravan, it was he, the brother of Ravan, Vibhishan, that told Lord Ram that you shoot the arrow in his navel. That's the only way he can get killed. There is no other way. And that became the cause of death and defeat of the king of the Lanka, Ravana. So he should see, I did not respect this law not to share your secrets with anybody, and that's why I am dying. So he says, this is the great lesson. Never share your secrets with anybody, not even with your spouse, not even with your brothers, not with your any of your family members, not even with your friends. Never ever share your secrets with anybody, because anybody who changes the party in politics, so they can become the cause of your death and destruction. They can trouble you if they know the secrets. Better not to share the secrets with anybody. Amazing. This is true in the modern world also. Somebody we feel that is in favor of us, you share the secret. Tomorrow the person is against you, and if that person knows all your secrets, can be a very troublesome. So never to share the secrets with anybody. Okay. Another lesson that he says, do not be the enemy of your driver, the charioteer. Okay, charioteer becomes driver in the modern world. Do not become the enemy of your driver. Do not become the enemy of your cook. Do not become the enemy of your gatekeeper. Do not become the enemy of your brother. Okay. They can harm you anytime. So these are the people, the driver, the gatekeeper, which means modern days watchman. Never have enmity with the driver, watchman, cook, and your brothers. Why? Because if you have the enmity with these people, they can trouble you anytime, because they are the closest and they know the secrets of your kingdom. A cook can give you poison and kill you. So never have enmity with your cook. Watchman can give the secrets out, or can let the enemy in. Never have enmity with your brother. because brother knows everything about your family background and all that. And never have the enmity with your driver, because your driver can meet accidents and kill you, and he may die with you or he may save himself, but risky. So don't have enmity with these four people. I feel the lesson is still your driver should be your confident person. Your cook should be definitely a confident person, because what you eat is very important. Your watchman is very important, so that the enemy doesn't come in. And your brother, or whosoever is there around you, your team members, you should not have enmity with any of them, because if you have the enmity with these people who are nearby you, they can create lots of troubles for you. So be very friendly with your team members who are there to protect you, who are there to help you. And friendly means take care of them. If you take care of them, they take care of you. Have friendly, nice, happy, healthy relationship with all of these people. Otherwise, at a very critical moment in your life when you need the help, if they create the trouble, then you may die. That's why it's very important to respect and keep these relationships very, very healthy. Okay. How much time we have? Okay, we have a lot more time. Are you all enjoying? Shall we continue with the life lessons? Yes. Okay. The next lesson it says, don't think that you will win always. Don't think that you are always a winner, even if you are winning all the time. See, he was winning all the wars. But the last war that he fought with Ram, he was defeated. So he says, do not think that you are always a winner, even if you win all the battles. So for the sports person, even if you are winning all the games, don't think that you are always the winner, because one last final game, if you lose, you have lost the game. So again, this is kind of a corollary that don't underestimate your opponent. Something similar message is there. He says that your success of winning should not get into your head. Because if your success of winning gets into your head and you think that you are always winner, and that becomes the cause of your fall, you will start losing that. Which means you have to keep yourself fit, keep your game okay, keep practicing, and keep playing by respecting your opponent, knowing the strengths of your opponent, and increasing your own strength, and not allow your success of winning to get into your head. Do not become overconfident. At times, overconfidence can become the cause of defeat in the critical moments. So be confident, but do not become overconfident. Always respect your opponent. Know the strengths of your opponent. Know the weaknesses of your opponent. Know your own strength. Be confident, but don't allow your success to get into your head. Do not become arrogant. Always respect your opponent. And that is the way to win. He said that in my lifetime, I thought, and that's what connected to the story of Brahmaji, that when Brahmaji asked him to ask for the boon, he said, I should not be killed by anybody other than monkeys and humans, because he was so capable. He was sure that no human being or no monkey can fit him. Okay. And you see, the Ravan was defeated by human beings and monkeys, the team of monkeys. Okay. Because that was the boon given by Lord Brahma, and that became the cause of his death. Okay. The lesson number 7. He says, always trust the minister who criticizes you. In the politics, if you have the advisors, if you have the consultants, And there are some consultants or the advisors or the ministers around you who are very knowledgeable and they criticize you for the wrong actions. He said, learn to respect those people because they are the genuine advisors. They are not getting carried away by your aura or your leadership. I think even in the modern world, in the corporate world, this is a very good lesson. Learn to respect those advisors, consultants, ministers who have the guts to criticize your decisions, and respect them because those are the genuinely in favor of your progress. That is why they are there. So always respect such people and don't have the grudges against them because they are criticizing your decisions because it is their job and that is the way they guide you. So if you have a consultant of your minister or if you have an advisor or you have a good friend or a counselor who is criticizing you, who is correcting you for your betterment, take it in your stride and be grateful to that person because that person is helping you. That is the life lesson. If you get put off just because somebody is criticizing, that's not right because you have employed that person for helping you in taking the better decisions, in taking the right decisions. And that person who is capable of criticizing your decision is definitely a learned person, a capable person, and he is doing his duty properly. So learn to respect such people. Okay, everybody got this lesson? Yeah. So welcome the criticism if there is some truth. Use the criticism given by the right kind of people, okay, not anybody. Criticism given by your advisors, consultants, ministers in a right manner, must learn to respect that criticism because they are advising for your growth, for your betterment, for your success. So learn to take such criticism in your stride and be grateful, be thankful to those people and trust those ministers because they are the real trustworthy people. They are the really good people. They wish good of you. Shubha Chintak, Hit Chintak, they are the better people. Okay. Lesson number 8. Next lesson. Never think of your enemy is small or powerless. He says, when I saw you both brothers, oh, this sannyasi looking two small brothers, okay, I underestimated you. So he says that never think that your enemy is small. I made that mistake of thinking that you two sannyasi brothers are very small and the team of monkeys, what will you do? I'm such a powerful person, but you see, today I'm defeated, I'm suffering, I'm about to die because I made this mistake. Laxman, you don't make this mistake. This is my life's learning. Always remember not to belittle your enemy, not to think your enemy is small or powerless, because even a small person has capacity to defeat you on certain points. So never ever underestimate your opponents or your enemies. Okay, the lesson number 9, very interesting. This is from the astrology for the astrologers. Lesson number 9 says, never think you can outsmart the stars. They will bring you what you are destined to. Ravan himself tried to do this thing. He was trying to collect all the stars in the 11th house for his son Meghnad. But you see, the Saturn pulled his leg out, and even though Ravan hits on him, but that was the reason Meghnad was defeated and killed by Laxman. 11th house is Ichhapurti Sthan. And that's what Ravana wants. All the planets in the 11th house. That person becomes the Ajaya, means one who can never be defeated, will be always be a winner. All his wishes will come true. Can become immortal, will not be defeated by anybody, will not be killed by anybody. But you see, the stars played its role, and the destiny of Meghnad was decided, even though Ravan has all the powers to control the planets. So control the planet means what? He was the knower of astrology. So when the planets are moving, at a particular point, all the planets were coming in the 11th house. And that was the best Murat. If that time, if the sun was born, that would have been the best thing. I will give you the exact replica of this concept in the modern world. See, for example, if you are an astrologer and you know what is the right time to deliver your baby, and you see the doctor says that it will be cesarean. So you can go for the operation today or tomorrow, 24 hours, 48 hours, the time is been given to you. If it is cesarean, you can choose the time. Now, if you are a good astrologer, you will find out, okay, which is the best lagna, all the stars, whatever the stars are there in a particular Rashi. Rashi may not change, but lagna can be decided and dasas will be according to the lagna. And 48 hours means you got a very good chance to decide. So if you are a smart person, you are trying to decide, it may not work according to your plans. What Ravana says? Never think you can outsmart the stars. They will bring you what you are destined to. Whatever is the destiny of the person to be born, that person will be born that time only. If you are trying to manipulate the stars, you cannot. Ravana was a great astrologer. He tried his best. The best of the best astrologer could not manipulate the stars for the birth time of his son. And that is the lesson that he is talking about. Whatever is in the destiny will happen that way, and the birth time will be decided by the destiny. You cannot outsmart the stars. The stars will play their roles, they will outsmart you, and they will come into the horoscope as per the destiny of the child who is born. Everybody understood this lesson? Okay, very important for the astrologers. So, it is the past birth karma of a soul that will decide the birth time of the child. वो बच्चे ने जो जन्म ले रहा है, उसने पिछले जन्म में क्या कर्म किया है, उसके मुताबिक उसका डेस्टिनी विधाता लिखता है. हम ही विधाता है, हम ही अपने कर्मों से अपनी डेस्टिनी लिखते हैं. So you cannot outsmart the stars. Whatever is as per the destiny, accordingly the child will be born at that time, and whatever is there in the destiny, that child will have to face the destiny. So you cannot outsmart the stars. As a greatest of great astrologers, okay, he is telling you this thing. So if you are an astrology student and you think that you can manipulate, listen to this life lesson of Ravana. You cannot. Okay. I have seen people who go for the cesarean, which is very common these days. Many people have asked me, okay, as an astrologer, it's my job. I give them, okay, this is the right time, this is the right time, this is the right time. 3, 4, 5 options I will give. It's very easy to give, okay, based on the lagna. You choose the best lagna, best combinations. But you see, after 2 days, 3 days, people will come and say, sorry, Guruji, some emergency developed and doctor had to take the decision. And now this is the birth time, exact, you make a horoscope. So all that manipulation that they were thinking actually did not work out. Very, very common. Okay, तो जो नसीब में होता है वो होता है. You cannot outsmart the stars. You can, if it is part of his destiny. Maybe he'll be born as one of the best Murat, but that is his destiny. So you will say, oh, I gave this Murat and that Child was born and we could manipulate. No, it's not manipulation. It is also as part of the destiny only. Okay. So I don't say that as an astrologer you don't try. Well, if there's an option, you can. But whether it will be successful or not, that depends on the destiny of the child who is born. I hope that makes it clear. So Ravan says you cannot outsmart the stars. Okay. Whatever is in the destiny, accordingly the stars will play their. Lesson number 10, given by Ravana to Laxman. Very, very interesting thing. This is in line with our high intensity Thursday satsang. The essence of high intensity Thursday satsang is there in this lesson. Listen carefully. Either love or hate God, but both should be immense and strong. What he says, love God. If you love God, love with immensity and strength, which means with high intensity. Then God will appear to you as your lover, like Krishna will appear to you as your beloved, and you will get moksha. Or you hate God, then God will come as your enemy and kill you. If God comes and kills you, you still attain to moksha. And this is the trick. And Ravan knew that if he is getting killed by Ram, who is Vishnu avatar, then his moksha is guaranteed. Because if you are killed by the God, you will not go to hell, you will go to heaven. You will go to moksha, no, not even heaven. You will get liberated. Anybody who is killed by God gets liberated. That is the best thing. So either you love God, love so immensely that he comes as your lover. So mothers many times they love Laddu Krishna. No, you pray Krishna as your child, Laddu Krishna. Then Krishna appears as your child. Whatever is your bhava in your heart, whatever are the feelings in your heart, accordingly the God will appear. But Ravan says the lesson is that bhav should be high intensity. That's the whole purpose of this high intensity Thursday satsang. If you have the high intensity, that will manifest. So if you are praying to Lord as your child, Radhu Krishna, okay, very popular in North India, then God will appear as your child. If you are praying Lord as your friend, the Lord will appear as your friend, like Arjuna. Krishna appeared to him as his friend. Or if you hate the Lord immensely with high intensity, then God will come as your enemy and kill you. All three cases you will get moksha. Fantastic strategy. Okay. So Ravan says whether you love him or hate the God, have high intensity. Either way. Okay. Then you will manifest your moksha, which means what? The lesson is without high intensity breakthrough does not come. Anything and everything that you do, unless you gather that high intensity, you will not become successful. So in physics, there is the concept of critical velocity. So when you launch a rocket, if it is going at a slow pace, it will fall down. Why? You need certain critical velocity to break through the gravitational pull of the earth, then only it can go into the space. Otherwise, it will come back under the gravity. So it's called critical velocity. Okay. See, even the normal aeroplanes, they are airborne. They can't just get airborne when they are doing the taxi, slow moving. Okay. It has to run at a particular speed. That is called the critical speed. When it crosses the critical speed and the pilot pulls the and turn the angle, that is where the aeroplane is airborne. So that is called the critical velocity. So it is true for the aeroplane, it's true for the rocket. Everything there is something critical, similar to critical velocity. So even for your success, you need to take massive action. You have to take it to a certain momentum, certain velocity. Even for your spiritual breakthrough, you must gather that high intensity critical velocity. Otherwise, your breakthrough will not come. See, mind has gained the momentum. The antidote to the momentum of the mind is development of awareness. Like there is a momentum of the mind, there is something called momentum of the awareness. So you pump in so much of energy into the awareness that your awareness sustains on its own accord because of its own momentum. Your mind is now sustaining because of its own momentum, because you have put in too much of energy into thinking. So antidote to your mind is awareness. Put lot of energy into awareness. So much so that your awareness continues because of its own momentum. That is called the intensity in your sadhana. And if you can put that kind of intensity, for sure, you will get the breakthrough. Otherwise, without the intensity, the breakthrough is not possible. All along in the Secrets of Enlightenment, last series, we were stressing upon this point only. And this comes as the lesson from Lord this Ravana to Laxman. So I'll repeat the sentence, very, very beautiful. Either love or hate God, but both should be immense and strong. Okay, that is the statement. Okay, lesson number 11. A king who is eager to win must suppress greed as soon as it lifts its head. This is about the politics, this is about the king. The king who is eager to win, okay, and greed develops. लोभ लालच मन में उत्पन्न हो गया. The greed develops, raises its hood like a serpent. That very moment you should learn to kill. Otherwise, if you get carried away by the greed, जो भी व्यक्ति लोभ में लालच में फंस जाता है उसका भला नहीं हो सकता. So be aware of your own mind. If you are getting carried away by the greed, by lobh, lalach, if you are getting caught into that, at that very moment, correct yourself. Otherwise, वो पतन का कारण बनता है. जो भी व्यक्ति लोभ में लालच में फंसता है तो लोभ और लालच उस व्यक्ति के पतन का कारण बनता है. I'll repeat in English. Anybody who gets caught into the greed, that very moment you should suppress that greed or take care of that greed, and don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed by the greed. Otherwise, that greed will bring you down and you will not be successful in whatever things you have started. I hope this lesson is clear. Everybody understood this? Simple. Okay. लोभ लालच में नहीं फंसना है. Don't get caught into the greed. Okay, lesson number 12. A king must welcome the smallest change to do good to others without the slightest procrastination. This is the lesson of a politics. If you are in a position, if you are in power, if you are a king, if you are a minister, whatever position you are having, if you get a slightest chance to do good to others in your position, okay, then without any procrastination, go and do that because that is your duty. So never delay anything that is a good idea which is there. Announce it immediately and take massive action. Do it on the spot without any delay. Because that is the way to use your power, to use your position, to use your chair. And you got that position for doing good of others. So if you get a thought without any procrastination, without any delay, go and act on that. And that is the right use of power. Any misuse of power brings about the bad karmic repercussion. सत्ता का भोग विलास, सत्ता की लालसा, सत्ता की चंगाल में फंसना, सत्ता के मद में उल्टा सुल्टा कर्म करना, ये सब व्यक्ति के पतन का कारण बनता है. So your power, your position, your chair is giving you the capacity to act, but it should be used for acting for the well-being of people around, acting for the well-being of humanity, acting for the well-being of environment, acting for the well-being of Mother Earth, good for nature, good for everybody, good for humanity. That is the way the power should be used. Otherwise, that power will bring your downfall. So, what is the right use of power? This is the lesson where we are understanding what is the right use of power. Okay. So, avoid misuse of power at every cost and use the power in a right way for the betterment of the humanity, for whatever position you are into or whatever you can do. Even if you get a slightest chance, jump at the opportunity and do it. Now, as a human being, average person, what we can do? If you get a good thought, go and act immediately. Do something good. Everybody has got some power, some position, something you can do for others, whatever your capacity. If you get a thought, don't delay. Jump at it and do it. Why? That is how you correct your karma. And if you get a bad thought, this is a corollary of the previous lessons that we learned, second, third lesson. If you get a bad thought, something bad that you need to do, delay, procrastinate, so that you don't get into the bad karma. Do only the good karma, avoid the bad karma. That is the way to moksha. That is the way to nirvana. So, all human beings have got patterns. If you fall into the bad pattern, it's troubling you, it's bothering you, it suffocates your energy. Become aware of that pattern. That's called pattern recognition. And earliest possible, correct that pattern. If you can do so, if you change your behavior, if you correct your attitudes, if you correct your behavior, then that pattern which is bad will lose grip over you. And you will start building the good karma. Okay. Anybody can do that. All human beings have the capacity to do that. And one of the greatest insight is, if you consider the alphabet ABCD, between B and D, there is C, which means what? Between birth and death, there is choice. So, what choices are you making? Whatever choices you are making will decide your destiny. You are creating your destiny by the choices that you make. Okay. So, what are you choosing? You see, every morning you wake up, you have choices in a day. What choices are you making, my dear friends? If you don't make your choices consciously, then your destiny will take over and you will do something as per your destiny. But if you want to change your destiny, that is the secret of Design Your Destiny camp that we are going to have at Ashram. 5 or 6 days camp starting from 2nd October with Dasara. It starts with the Tulavaram program of the 5 or 6 people who are registered. And that day the camp starts. It's called Design Your Destiny Camp. So your destiny can be known through astrology, through Akashic record reading, through Nadi Shastra, through palmistry, through numerology. There are so many divine arts by which we can know the destiny. Better than that is knowing your own patterns. You know what are the patterns. Recognize your pattern, correct your pattern. That is the way you design your destiny. The concept of design your destiny is very common. It was there 7,500 years back also. Ravana is telling this as a lessons to Laxman. Ravana knew about this thing, design your destiny. Okay, the concept is very old. So, my dear friend, ask yourself the question, what choices are you making on a everyday basis? Everybody has a choice. What are you choosing? A very important question for you. Choose wisely. Choose something that will help you to achieve your life mission. Choose something that will help you to get liberated. Choose something that will help you to complete your journey on the planet Earth. Choose something that will improve the humanity. Just because you happen to visit this planet Earth, when you live it little better for the next generation. That's a choice. All of us we have. But are you exercising the choice? How are you using the natural resources? Very important thing. All right. The last lesson. I have noted the 13 lessons from that chapter. Last, the most important lesson of life of Ravana. Very small sentence, but very powerful lesson. The last lesson that is there. The sentence says, ego will die anyway. Ravana understood while dying. And he was considered as the greatest egoist those days. Why? Because he was the most successful. And the success got into his head because he was a capable, he was a great king, great powerful king. He had his genetics, all the qualities of the Brahmin and all the qualities of demons he had together. So demons were very powerful. All the siddhis they had and all the knowledge he had. So he was a great pandit, he was a great astrologer, and he had all the siddhis of a demons. Extraordinary. Demons have this siddhi is one of the siddhi is that they can do interdimensional travel. So they can appear, they can disappear. You cannot do anything to them. They are very perfect in their interdimensional travel. So they can appear into any form. They can fool you. He changed his rupa. He changed his form. He became a Brahmin in front of Sita. So when Sita came out from Laxman Rekha, then he became Ravana again and took him out. But Sita failed to recognize him. So they have the capacity to change their form at will. They can appear, disappear, do interdimensional travel. They can fly in the air. All the siddhis. These are the siddhis of the asuras, the demons. And the knowledge of the Brahmins. He was the knower of all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, all the knowledge. He created Shiva Tandav Stotra for Lord Shiva while praying Lord Shiva. Okay. Amazing person. And last lesson that he says, the ego will die anyway. What amazing insight. No matter how great you are, you will meet somebody who will defeat you. So the ego will die anyway. So, before a person dies, if the awakening happens, if the ego disappears, then Jivan Mukti becomes possible. If a person dies with the ego is the misunderstanding or attachment with the body mind. That's what is the ego, the ahankar tattva that creates I. So I am my body, I am my mind, I am my ideas. That attachment to my body mind is called ahankar, the ego. So if the awareness develops within and the awakening happens and person can come out from this false belief that I am my body, I am my mind, that is what is the creating the ego, then the ego can disappear and person can live liberation. And if you don't choose to get into that mode, the last lesson that Ravana says, ego will die anyway. So, my dear friends, fantastic life lessons from the villain. Okay, he's not a hero, he's a villain. An amazing life lesson that is given. Okay, that was a time when the learned people were there. And if you see, all the lessons are the lessons from the life of Ravana. Ravana was such an intelligent person, he was such a learned person. He understood, and very honestly, he's sharing the life lessons. And when he says that ego will die anyway, and he said he breathed his last, that was the last breath, and he just. And let me tell you one big secret. Nowhere in Ramayana it is written what happened to the body of Ravana after that. But there is history, and there's a document by Sri Lankan government, and research is going on right now. It is said that uh, in Sri Lanka, those days, these demons had the art of reviving the body. They had Sanjeevani Bhuti. They had Ayurveda Charya. You know, Hanumanji picked up that Ayurveda Charya and he went and collected the Sanjeevani Bhuti, and Laxman was awakened. So he was the king of Sri Lanka, and that Ayurveda Charyas were available. When better were available. So what they tried is they tried to revive the body of Ravana with Sanjeevani Bhuti. And there were some beings from the Nagaloka who were very, very powerful with all these herbs and all. And it is said that the people from the Nagaloka, they took away the body of Ravan and they applied all the herbs and all, and they were trying to revive. And the body of Ravan was protected in one of the cave. That is what is the Sri Lankan government document. And there are proofs of it. And the government funded research is going on. And they found the cave, which is there described in the scriptures. And there is a box lying there in the cave, but the box is still not open. What is there inside? But people there, local people, the tribals, they believe that it is the body of Ravana which is maintained with all the herbs and mummification that process that they do for last 7,500 years. It's lying there. True or not, I don't know. Government document says this is what it is. Okay. But ego will die anyway. What happened to the body? Nobody knows. And that one doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The death of the body is not the real death. Why? So somebody who is born will die. Somebody who died will be born. Moksha Prapti. Moksha Prapti happens only when the ego dies. And that is the best lesson that we can learn from Ravana. If the ego dies before person dies, then person will attain to nirvana, moksha. If ego continues and the death comes, then you will be born again because it's the ego that is born life after life. Until the ego disappears, you cannot drop out from the wheel of birth and death. So enlightenment is the end of the ego. So, my dear friends, we all have choice. If we do our sadhana, if we understand, and with the blessings of the Lord, if the surrender happens and the ego disappears, then this lifetime is considered worthwhile because you are able to complete your journey on the planet Earth. And if that doesn't happen and the normal death comes, then the ego will for sure be reborn and the next lifetime it continues. But the insight of a lesson, Ravana, the ego will die anyway. It's a fantastic All right, my dear friends, thank you very much for joining. Wonderful 13 lessons from the life of Ravana. Hope all of you enjoyed. If you have any question, you can put it in chat box. I'll see the chat box. I'll answer your questions. Okay, we have a few more minutes. If there are no questions, we'll end. Pratyush Tomar is asking, do Rakshasa demons still exist in current times? Lots of things exist in this existence. What we are able to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Our sensory perception are very, very limited. And asuras are the interdimensional travelers and all. So with our petty little intellect, we can't judge if they are there or not. Okay. But what you say UFOs, maybe those people. Krishna Patel is asking, dear Guruji, excellent explanation of lessons and current relevance regarding putting energy to awareness to break through from momentum of mind. Is there ever circumstances to use mind to do normal work activities, planning, logistics, etc.? See, for a common man, the mind is the master. You are the slave. And the mind creates troubles for you. For a spiritually awakened person, the mind is a slave. So, for sure, the slave is available. So, if you need to do some work, you can use your mind. And if the work is over, you can switch off your mind. So, if you get enlightened, that doesn't mean that you will not be able to do the planning and use your computer and your logistics. So, you will do better. Why? Now the mind is in your control. Better time management, better output. Okay. See, today I wrote 7 articles in a day. Lots of pending things were there. I got up morning 4:30, okay, and started completing. And because in the evening I had to give you these 13 lessons, so I had a choice. I got up early, completed a very beautiful manual for Miracles of High PUF program on the weekend. Okay, I just got the printout also so that I can edit and finalize tomorrow. Beautiful 7 new articles, 8 new articles added to the manual. All that I had in mind, I emptied today itself. Which means what? I really used my time very well. My output was extremely high. I also made a notes of this, you see, this 13 lessons on the piece of paper that I wanted to tell you from the life of Ravana. And I did consult few scriptures that this is exactly in line with the scriptures. Okay, so these are not created by me. These are there in the scriptures. So there's a reference point to these things. Everything takes time. So a person who is awakened will have a great mental clarity. The mind is not an obstruction in doing small things here and there. On the contrary, the mind is the slave and mind will do whatever you tell. And mind does not create the troubles. So that's a beautiful thing that happens. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you.